Welcome to my first Farming Simulator 25 Let's Play playthrough. We're going to be playing on Zielonka and we're going to do a challenge from scratch run. There's going to be a list of rules and there's going to be some things and goals I'm going to be aiming for with the map, namely to try and go from 0 to hero. I'm going to be limiting myself with funds, equipment I'm going to be able to use, time I'm going to be allowed to actually do some farming, equipment I'm allowed to lease or how long I'm leasing it for, and a bunch of other restrictions to see just how far I can take it. This is going to be a really interesting and fun way to play the game, and I've never really done a challenge run before, so join me on this journey. So the initial setup, we're going to be going on Zielonka. The reason why I'm going to do Zielonka is because a lot of people are doing Hoot and Pantai at the minute. I'm playing 2 saves on Riverbend, and Zielonka always was a favourite for me personally. So I feel like Zielonka is going to give me enough to do and just be really nice to play on a 25 version of this map. We're going to be going from scratch. We're going to be starting with just 100,000. We're going to have a starting loan of 1 million that we will need to pay off in order for this challenge to be successful. We're going to be on hard difficulty. We're not going to have a starting farm and we are not going to do the guided tour. Other settings and rules. So we're going to be going on 5 time scale. We're going to be, like I say, keeping the economic difficulty on hard. Traffic on. We're going to have seasonal growth. We're going to have 4 days per month. We're going to have snow on. We're going to keep the fixed visual month off. We're going to have periodic ploughing on. We're going to have crop destruction on. We're going to have fieldstone on. We're going to have lime required on. And we're going to have weeds on. We're also going to have disaster destruction enabled. We're going to keep our dirt on normal. We're going to have automatic engine start off. We're going to have stop go braking on. We're going to keep the trailer fill limit on as well, which means that it's going to be weight based, not capacity based. We're going to keep our full fuel usage on normal. We're going to keep the AI workers set as default as well. So we're starting with 1 million in debt, 100,000 to our name, no land, no equipment. If I lease, I'm going to have to lease it for 18 months, which is a standard leasing contract for pretty much anything hire purchase these days. We're going to only be able to work daytime hours, which means sunrise, I should say, to sunset. This means that in the winter, we're going to have shorter days. In the summer, we will have slightly longer. Other things are I'm not going to be able to take any more loans out, and I will need to pay off the loan entirely before I can start buying land, which means I'm going to have to do contracts. This is going to make it incredibly difficult because, like I say, if I lease anything, I have to keep it for 18 months. I am not allowed to use the discount store until I start buying equipment, and I'm not allowed to start buying equipment until all leases are finished. This is going to be a really big challenge, and I want to see how far we can go. I am allowed to buy things first before leasing, which means that if I buy everything I want to buy and then lease from there on, we will be able to make some progress that way. Productions are the same as land and everything else. I will need to be out of debt before I can buy a production. So we're going to have to try and make as much money from contracts as possible and see where we can go from there. So now we're in the game. How am I going to do this? What is going to be the best way of me making money from contracts only, not being able to buy anything until we've got the debt paid off? We've got 100 grand to start with. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to buy things that, in my mind, give me the most chance of making money easily. And we're going to start by buying ourselves a chainsaw. Chainsaws are always going to be a real winner because they only cost you £1,000, which means that you're not going to have to worry about it. So we're going to buy ourselves a chainsaw immediately. It's going to be the first thing. The next thing I'm going to buy is I'm going to buy a plow because plowing is actually pretty enjoyable. And we can get a plow that doesn't require too much horsepower. This is going to be good because obviously anything that we use, we're going to have to work with. We do have a subsoiler, which is a modded subsoiler, but I don't really want to use that. And I don't know whether I'll be able to use that for plowing contracts. I've not tried it yet. So we're going to just go for the Agro-Maz because it's base game. It only requires 160 horsepower and it's a pretty damn good plow. It's also only 16 grand. We're going to buy that one straight away. So we've got ourselves a plow. We've got ourselves a chainsaw. And the other thing we're going to buy, because it makes for really good money, is going to be the fertilizer spreader. I'm going to go with the... I'm actually not going to go with that. I'm going to go with the sprayer. Normally, I would always go with the Brendel, but because they don't have lime contracts, and it's going to be a while before we've paid off the loan, it makes sense to take a sprayer where I can use fertilizer and herbicide. But as you can see, it's 74 grand, which would be a lot of our money gone. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Hardy, which is only 30 grand. And I'll buy the tank as well. And then that should leave me enough that I can lease out a fairly decent mid-range tractor that will be able to pull all of these things that I've got so far. So we've got something to do spraying contracts with, we've got something to do fertilizing contracts with, and we have got something to do plowing with. We've also got a chainsaw. The other two things I'm going to lease, which remember means I'm going to have to keep them for at least 18 months, is on a lease the FH16 Rull HKR. This is because woods transport are exceptionally useful. They are really good sources of income in contracts, and it will allow me to sort of keep that going. So we're going to go with this one first. So we're going to just go for the bog standard one. I'm not really bothered about anything. We're going to go as cheap as possible. I'm not bothered about the mirrors, not bothered about mud flaps. We've got nothing there. I'm not even bothered about painting it, to be honest. We want this as cheap as is humanly possible. So if we lease this, this is going to cost us £11,000 to lease. So we've got ourselves that, which means we can do some wood transport contracts as well. So we can now do Deadwood and we can do wood contract. And the other good thing is this means that we can take the wood from the wood transport and we can sell it until we get enough that we can get around to getting a chipper. Of course, I can't do that for 18 months now, so we're stuck with leasing, which means that until I'm able to get everything sorted, we're going to be in this loop. So I'm going to have to try and get everything set up as quickly as possible so as to get through the 18 months without having to buy or lease anything else for now. The next thing we want is obviously a tractor. So far, I haven't got anything too major, so we're probably going to go with the Challenger or the White because it's cheaper. This will allow me to lease for a much lower cost and will still give me everything I need. So it starts with 160. I want to go up to 225 in case we do end up buying or using something a bit beefier, and it will just give us that sort of advantage. It is 25 grand more, so we're going to keep the front weight on there as well, and we're going to lease this for 4 grand. Perfect. That leaves us with 31, which means now I can basically start earning some cash and seeing what's going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to my finances page, and I'm going to go and I'm going to immediately start paying some loan off because I want this down as much as possible. The lower this is, the lower my outgoings. So I want to offset the lease that I've just taken out and stuff. So we're going to repay 15,000, which leaves it at 985, which will be basically offsetting the 15 grand that we've got there. That's us set up. Let's have a look at what contracts we've got and see if we can't start making some of this money back. So we can do Deadwood because we've got the thing. Another one of the rules, which I don't think I said, is that I can't borrow equipment for contracts. So I can only use equipment that I lease or own. I can't borrow from the contract. So we can do Deadwood, we can do fertilizing, and we can do spraying. We can also do wood transport because obviously we've got the truck. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we are going to take the Deadwood to start with. And we'll get that one out of the way first. We've then got fertilizing that we can do as well. Obviously, I can, as long as I've got money to buy enough fertilizer to keep us going. And I'm going to have to remember to buy liquid. And then the last one was the wood transport. So I do have the more missions mod on, which allows me to take more contracts at once, which is going to allow me to keep control of everything and see how it goes. So we're going to start with the Deadwood, then we'll do the fertilizer, and then we'll do the wood transport last. Okay, so we're at the land area, which is good. So we're going to find all of the Deadwood, and we are going to cut it all down. I may, well, I'm going to have to try and make more money. I'm going to come up here and collect it. So we're going to cut the wood down, and we're going to cut the logs into more manageable trunks. And I'm just going to get rid of all of the edges as well here to make it nice and neat, which will make it nice and easy for us to transport into the truck. Beautiful. So, I am doing this completely by eye. I don't know how long the bits need to be. But what I do know is that that Volvo is very, very good at transporting logs. And that's one of the reasons why I took it. Cool. Right, that's the first tree down. So we're obviously not going to be collecting this until we've got the wood. Because if we do, all the wood that we just cut down disappears. I think the easiest way of paying back the loan is every time I earn 5 grand, paying it off. Like the second I get to 20 grand, I'll pay it off. And then we've got the 15k buffer for leasing costs each month. And we've also got the added advantage of keeping on top of it and getting it paid off ASAP. I wonder how long it's going to take to pay off the $1 million. It'll be a really good indication. But the cool thing is, once I've paid off the loan, I can then start buying land, which means that leased equipment will come in really, really handy. Okay, let's go there. And let's go there. I've got Deadwood right next to it as well. I'm going to go in the half of this one. Beautiful. It really is amazing what you can do with a chainsaw and some Deadwood contracts. Like the extras, things like that, stone picking are going to be really useful for us as well. Anything that is going to allow us to make money, the more I'm using it. Like, the reason why I've not gone for a harvester straight away is because I'm not going to be able to use it outside of that first month, which means I'm going to be stuck with it for 18 months, not being able to do anything. And nobody needs that. Nobody needs that at all. And go there. Beautiful. Now, obviously, the real money maker with doing Deadwood contracts and stuff is down to things like your wood chips and stuff. But wood chipper is quite expensive, even to loan out, and lease is quite expensive to do. And so as a result, I'm not doing that just yet. I'd rather wait and buy it outright. There we go. Perfect. We like a good cut. Magical. Perfect. What are we on? 80%. So one more tree we've got to find within this area. I must admit, normally I'm not a huge fan of doing Deadwood contracts, especially because some of them have been quite buggy. It's been a bit of a nightmare because some of them spawn inside other trees and you spend ages looking for them and then you cut down the wrong tree, which for us would be absolutely disastrous at this point. But here's hoping we can find the last Deadwood really quickly, get it cut and transported. I'm not a huge fan of how slow the movement speed is either, if I'm honest, but it's a simulator. We're not exactly going to be running really super fast without mods, so I can live with it. Okay. As soon as we find that last tree, we can move on with our lives. Yes, we can. I've often said, and I stand by the fact, that locating of the trees in the Deadwood zone should be a little bit easier. Maybe as an optional extra, you select if you want it to highlight the trees for you, for example, would be quite nice. Just so that we have more of an understanding of where to go. A lot of people that I know that do Deadwood contracts really don't like the fact of they have to find the Deadwood. They have to look for it. And you'd think finding 5 or 6 dead trees in an area would be really easy, but it's not sometimes. And almost the more desolate an area is, the harder it is to find the tree that you're meant to be cutting. Especially, as I've said, some trees can spawn inside of other ones and cause problems, which is not what anybody wants. Trick is to try and look up. And if you can find one that doesn't have, like, branches on the top of it, then you've found the tree you're after. Of course, doing that is easier said than done. There it is. Found it. You really do walk really slowly with the chainsaw. But we got there. So I'll cut this down. We'll go and grab the Volvo. And then what we can do is we can... Come on, there we go. Well, this has gone really well for me, hasn't it? You're gonna fall all the way down? Are you heckers like? How not to cut a tree, brought to you by me. Picking this one up is going to be a nightmare. And yes, I know, before anybody comes at me in the comments, if you cut it at an angle, you can dictate which way the tree falls. So, completely on me, this. But we got there in the end. Right. I'm going to jump into the truck, and I've just got to remember what button it is to start the engine, because I can't remember what I set it to. Okay, we are in the Volvo. We have got our pennies, and we are going to head up, and we're going to go ahead and pick up all of those wonderful logs, stick them in the back of the truck, take them to the biomass heating plant, I think, and sell the wood there. And then what we can do is we will crack on with the wood transport contract, because we're already in the Volvo anyway, and it is right next door. And then we'll do the fertilizing contract after that, collect it all, make some pennies, pay off some of the loan, and just see where we end up. Right, now we have got our truck into where it is that we were cutting the wood before. We've just got to find the wood that we cut down, pick it up, put it in the back of the trailer. You will notice that I have indeed added the wheel cam back now. So you can see the setup that I'm using. I'm currently using a Logitech G920 wheel, a Thrustmaster farm stick, and a Logitech control panel as well. Dual sticks for wood transport and moving logs in general is honestly amazing and makes my life so much easier, and is also one of the reasons why I wanted to go in with the wood transport from the get-go. If you're doing a challenge like this and you're using a controller, I wouldn't blame you if you decided to just go a completely different way. Now, question is, did I remember to cut this one completely down or not? I did indeed. I haven't picked it up in the right spot, but at least I remembered to cut it. Not only did I not put it in the right place, I haven't cut them right. But it's fine. What could go wrong? I'm not too worried about stacking this completely 100% right. It's not like we need perfect logs or anything. It's just we need to get as much of it as we can. Preferably all of it if we can. I will check and see if the biomass heating plant sells for more than the sawmill. I kind of hope the sawmill wants it because it'll be quicker to get there and back. But I guess we'll take whatever. And then we can come back and get the very nice and neat stacked logs for the wood transport, which will be a lot easier to pick up. Because they won't have been cut down by me. So that's going to make life a lot easier for them, for sure. Beautiful. Like I say, dual joysticks make this a breeze. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for the fact that I do indeed have two joysticks, one for up and down. One joystick could be fine, but it just makes it so much more free-flowing if you've got two that you can run with. And I know not everybody's going to be fortunate to have a setup like this. I'm well aware of just how privileged I am to have this, and I am thankful every day. And even with that, I still stack like an idiot, so, you know. Definitely a skill issue right here. There we go. Right, so that was two of them. We'll fasten them down for now. And then we will keep driving round, because I know there's a few more around here somewhere. Trying not to get stuck or caught between as we do. And this is where having a really good memory comes in, because it makes finding them again much easier. Right, this was the one where I screwed it up. This was the log that refused to fall down, not against the tree. So lots of smaller pieces here, but I don't think should be too bad. Oh, that. That's not gone well at all, is it? That has not gone very well at all. That is a rather large piece of wood there. That one's a bit more manageable. Can I reach them too, or am I going to have to go back a bit? What I don't want to happen is get stuck on the branches that I'm kind of going over to get here. I picked them both up. That was unexpected. Okay, that's some more. I think we got one more, haven't we? Maybe two more. I know I shouldn't be driving with my bases down, but I can't be bothered to unfold and unfold all the time. Especially in such a small area. If we were going, like, quite away, I probably would. Beautiful. I think, like I say, I think we got one more after this. Sure. Sure. That's exactly what I wanted that to do. Thank you. I apparently didn't get all the branches off of these either, which is kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had. Remember how I said it was so smooth earlier? I just want you to remember that whilst I'm doing this. Move out the way of the big tree. And then maybe I can bring it in. Come on, in you go. That's not working as intended. Cool. I'm gonna drop it and pick it up more in the middle. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I don't think the truck like that. Right, I think we're in. Just about, but I think we're in. I can't remember if there was one more or not. I don't think so. I think I've got them all. I love the little hutch. I am going to class that as got them all. So I'm going to fold this away. And whilst this is folded, we're going to have a look at prices. Whilst the game saves. Prices of wood. It's going to be one of these where it doesn't matter. Oh, no, wood's there. I mean, biomass heating plant is the best. Yeah, it is. The sawmill's saying, but definitely the biomass heating plant. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to go to the biomass heating plant. I'm going to sell this wood. I don't know how much we've got. We should get a little bit extra. And then, like I say, we can come back and we can do the wood transport, which will be a lot easier and a lot quicker. Because it only wants us to go around the corner for that, I think. But we will double check. There is a good reason why I haven't implemented speed limits and stuff, because I can't adhere to them. I can't do it. I have a lead foot and time is money, so yeah, there's no no grace with that one, I'm afraid. We will run it at top speed for as long as we need to, and hopefully we won't have any mishaps in the process. Did I not go long? I didn't go south enough, did I? I've got to remember the map for Zielonka. It's been so long since I played it. And like I say, it really was one of my favorites from 22. I played on this one a lot. Now, what is interesting here is that wood for the wood transport also wants to go here. So I don't know whether it's going to count this as money for me or whether it's going to count it as wood for the wood transport. Either way, I should get some decent money extra for this. But I guess we'll have to find out. I've also just remembered we've got crop destruction on. I think I've just gone across somebody's field, so that's fun. I'm gonna have to remember that for when I own my own fields. Oh no, it gave us the money. There you go. Beautiful. Right, so we're gonna head back up. We got 700 quid for that. Shouldn't too bad. And then we can also complete the contract for the Deadwood. The reason why we're going to complete the contract for the Deadwood is because it means that we might get another Deadwood contract. So it will keep us going with those. Yeah, it's only my fields that takes the effect of crop destruction, thankfully. And again, the second we hit over 20k, we're going to put another 5 into the loan. And then we'll jump into our little challenger and we will get the fertilizing done, which is nice, quick, easy income. That is going to put us below the 15k threshold, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, to be honest. And again, Zielonka is quite a nice map to drive around. It doesn't seem to take very long, because it is still quite a small and compact map, which is nice. We will probably, outside of buying a tractor first, once we've got this debt paid off, probably go for the Volvo. Like, once we return this after the 18 months, hopefully be able to just buy one. So we can't buy vehicles as long as we've got leases out. We've got to finish the lease contract before we can buy vehicles. But as soon as that loan's paid off, we can buy land. Which means that we're going to be able to essentially use the lease vehicles for those 18 months to work the land. But we've got to pay that $1 million off first. I don't know how long it's going to take doing simply just contracts. It's going to be a long one, especially since I can only do contracts with items and vehicles that we lease/own. But this is a nice, small wood amount. So I don't think this is going to take us too long to do. And again, it wants us to go down to the biomass heating plant to do it. Oh, we're tipping. Just gotta go easy. Spin around. Pull her in. Level her up. And release her down. Could have been better. Wasn't terrible. And then we just got 3 left, yeah? Not a huge amount of money because it's only a small wood contract, but 3 grand is 3 grand and will allow us to pay off that first 5k. No. Oh, God, I think we've got him. Gently, gently, gently. Beautiful. Right, and back round. We'll turn around here. And we'll go down, deliver this, which will give us a little bit extra as well. I think we get like 20 or 30 quid on top. Pay off the first 5 grand of the loan by... I think we're only going to need 2,000, like 1 single pallet of liquid fert. I've got to remember to buy liquid fert because if I buy solid fert out of habit, I will have basically screwed us already. So that would be bad. Let's not do that. Let's avoid doing that at all costs, eh? Nice and fast journey down here. I'm not going to turn there. I'm going to turn at the other one. Down by 93. I don't know whether it will be quicker. Might be slower. Only one way to find out. I think this is actually quicker. I think this has been the quicker way. Whee! You know what I do like? Is that on base games, I don't know what it's going to be like on modded maps, but on base games, you don't really lose your starting farms on 25 when you start on, like, from scratch. Which I like. And by that, I mean that even if you don't take it, like, they're still there. Whereas in 22, if you started on anything but New Farmer, you would lose a lot of the buildings there and stuff, which is never ideal. Right then, complete that. I've also got to remember to start turning on and off the engine, because otherwise we're going to be in trouble. So we've got a lot of contracts here, and a lot of them I can't do without leasing stuff, which is going to be a problem. So we're going to take that one as well. And then we can get all 3 fertilizing contracts done. So we're going to jump into this. I'm going to drive it back to the shop area, but park it just outside of that shop zone. And then we're going to stop the engine so we're not wasting fuel. Jump into the Challenger and our fertilizer sprayer. Buy some spray. Bing bang bosh. Park her up nice and neat. Alright then, Mr. Challenger, let's go. So, does anybody in the comments want to tell me what my first mistake was? The Challenger doesn't come with a 3-point attacher on the front, so that tank that I own is completely useless. Oh, yeah, no. Yep, love that. So we're doing fertilizer. I will go with one because I don't think I can fit more than that in anyway. I think I can only fit 1,500 litres. But yeah, I'm a big dum-dum. I'm a big dum-dum who has already made their first major mistake. It's fine. It just means we have to fill up more. I could sell the tank, but we'd lose money. And if I ever take out a bigger tractor for different needs, then I would still need them. So, right, we'll go up and we'll start at field 20 and we'll move our way down to field 35. And then down again to field 82. I am super annoyed that I've already wasted 5 grand. I also need to complete that contract. Hang on a minute. Oh, I did complete it. Okay, never mind. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're on 17, weren't we? We bought the thing. I'm not known for my smarts. This is why I think this challenge is going to go horribly wrong. Horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. It'll be fine. Probably doesn't help that all the numbers are different on 25 Zielonka to 22s. Same amount of fields, but all the numbers of the fields are different, which really doesn't help when I've got a memory as bad as what I've got a memory. So we will be looking at the map to double check and see just what it is I need. There's field 20. I'll remind myself where 35 and 82 is. I'm assuming 35's up here somewhere as well, because there's field 40. So I don't think we're too far away. Alrighty then, let's go. I could use steering assist, but honestly, I don't really see the point on fields that are this small when I'm using a sprayer. If it was my fields, I would, because it would allow me to make sure I get 100% coverage. But with it being a contract and me not really needing to get 100% coverage, I'm not that fussed or bothered by it. And honestly, I don't think we even needed the tank anyway. We'll probably need the tank for sprayer. For herbicide, I think herbicide uses a bit more. Like its rate is a bit higher than fertilizer. Of course, my driving doesn't help with the efficiency, but when has it ever? About halfway through the field, nice and easy, and we've used 200 litres. So yeah, I didn't need to spend the 5 grand at all. The fact that I bought 5 grand and then got a trailer that doesn't utilize a 3-point attacher on the front was definitely a rookie mistake. I think I'd have been better off just leasing out the Messi Ferguson MS7, but... Or even the Do It's Fair. The little Do It's Fair would have been a good shout. The Agro Star 8.1, I think it is, that we've got on here. So you know what I said about not really needing to use steering assist? I'm a pro. If you're watching it, I am a pro, honest. 99... 100? There it is. Ryan, field 35. Where is field 35? I'm hoping we continue getting more. We've got another Deadwood, which is actually worth a bit more this time, which is good. 35's there, and then 80 is over there. So we've got a fair way to travel. Okay, cool. Cool. They have done amazing wonders with this map. They really have. Like, it was pretty before. So I am very, very happy with what they've done with the map. I'm going to be even happier with how much money this map is going to make me, especially when I'm able to start buying fields Getting some crops going. Doing all the good stuff. I think this one's going to take a little bit more spray. Especially if I don't get this lined up properly, which I already haven't. And then I can always go down, because 82 is the other side of the map, I can go down to the shop on the way, because it's just down the road. Pick up the rest of the fertilizer to keep me topped up, and then go and do 82, even though I don't think I'm going to need it anyway, because it's tiny. I'm not going to do headlands. I'm just going to go up, down, up, down, up, down until it's done. Again, thankfully with it being crop destruction and it not being my field, it's not actually destroying the crops. I think the way that we're going to get around that is we will fertilize before we plant. Try and make sure that when we get fields, we fertilize as soon as we've like harvested and plowed and cultivated. And then we can fertilize again when it comes to planting, and that should give us the full 100% without ever risking any crop destruction, which would be really helpful and handy to have. This map really is going to be about maximizing everything we can, because we're not going to be earning a huge amount of money, and it's going to be a nightmare. Because I'm apparently a masochist, and that's what we do. Third of the field done already. Probably is some overlap. Probably isn't the healthiest of efficiency, because I'm not using steering assist for this. Other jobs I 1000% will. I'm not putting on a stipulation that I can't use steering assist. I did that for the entire duration of my time on 22. I am not putting myself through that again. But like I say, with spraying and fertilizing contracts, it's not really the end of the world, because the width is that wide that you can sort of just work with it and it not be an issue. I do love the graphics of the spray. I really do. Like the way the effects work and stuff. They've done a really, really good job. I'm willing to bet I've missed a bit in the middle. Somehow, some way, there'll be like a nice little gap in the middle that's like a tear shape. Because without steering assist, I do not do very well in a straight line. Luckily, like I say, field 82 is tiny, so I'm not going to need that much. One more row. One more row, friends. 92. We might get to 100 by the end of this. I might have got away with it. I might have done enough. Maybe. I guess it's whether I'm going to run out of spray or whether I'm going to get the fucking job done. Because that is starting to go down very quickly now we're near the end. And we're only at 96. 97, come on. 98. Oh, Lord. 99. No. Okay, yeah, I missed a bit somewhere. We're at 98%. What bit have I missed? What bit have I missed? Oh, no. Right, not bothered about weeds. Not bothered about needing ploughing. Literally 2 slivers, look. 2 slithers. I've got 88 litres left. 71 litres left, sorry. And I've missed 2 of the tiniest spots going. Are you going to give me that 99? There we go. Are you going to give me the 100? Yeah, did it. 24 litres left. That was a bit nerve-wracking. I think that one pays pretty good, though. We should have, if nothing else, made our money back. I definitely prefer solid fertilizer for efficiency. Like, liquid fert is cheaper. You pay 2,400 for 2,000 litres, whereas solid fort is 1,920 for 1,000 litres. So it is cheaper. But at the same time, it lasts so much better. Also, that bug is really, really annoying. Down to field 82 we go. Very, very glad at this point that Zielonka is very small. Because only going 40 kilometers per hour is going to absolutely kill me. And then we can see just what we can do next. Like, still no ploughing contracts, which is really annoying, actually. I'm starting to wonder whether I should have bought / leased a cultivator, because cultivator contracts are more common. But if we have got 15 or 16, we can generally maybe get away with leasing one that we can run with. We've got 200 and something horsepower to work with, so we might be able to. All right, let's get this field done. Nice and quick, small field, not worth a huge amount, but if we can get all this from one pallet of liquid fert, then we are making profit, and that means that we can start paying that loan off a bit more as well. And beautiful. That's what we like to see. So we're going to claim these, and then we will see what else is left. Yeah, 2 of them didn't pay a lot. But we are up to 22, so we can go to finances, and we can pay another 5 off. Beautiful. 980 grand left to go. What contracts have we got available? So we've got Balin. We've got 1 Deadwood, which we can take. We have got another fertilizing we can do as well. And what else have we got that we own? Crop removal. We can do spraying as well. Like, that's another thing we can do. Which is why I went with the sprayer over the spreader. We can take those. And then all we need is like a pallet of spray. Beautiful. So we've got 1 Deadwoods. We've got 1 fertilizing and 2 spraying. So this sprayer, this little sprayer, is already paying for itself. And not only that, we've managed to do the contract, pay off some of the loan, and be left with about what we started. So we're going up to 64, which I believe is up here. It's on the way. I genuinely thought the field 65 was flashing, and I was like, but I don't have a contract for 65. I now understand. If I don't have a contract for 65, how can 65 be flashing at me? What I do find a bit weird with the AI is the way that they always seem to plant it crossways. So when you're doing your harvesting or whatever, and you set up the steering assist, it wants you to go against the grain of the crop. It's really weird. But then it was the same in 25 as well. 22, sorry. I've never really understood why they do the things they do. Now this, the nice thing about this is you can see the crop changing colour, so I can tell where I've been, which makes it a lot easier when you decide not to use steering assist. Again, a nice quick earner, this one. Now we're in August, which means I believe sunset isn't until around 7, 8 o'clock. So we've got a fair bit of time. As long as I can turn around. Also, that's new. I don't remember on 25 there being a chicken coop there. I remember there being buildings down here, but it wasn't like a small farm or anything. It was just a building. But again, that 1 pallet that costs us 2.5 grand, 2,400, has made us so far about 4 grand. Fertilizing contracts, spraying contracts, they are still really worth the money. Be more worth the money if I didn't have to keep going back to the shop because I, you know, bought the wrong tractor or leased the wrong tractor, and I can't get rid of it for 18 months, so we're kind of stuck with it. I may end up selling that tank because I own it. If I own it, I can sell it. It's only if I lease it, I can't return it. So we may end up selling the tank unused, taking a loss on it, and putting that money towards a loan or some new leasing equipment, maybe. We made another grand from that. That's not too bad. Another one for 82, which is only just down the road. That's good. We've just done 82. Interesting. I don't quite know how that works. I mean, sure. Sure, we'll take it. It's another 400 quid. Why not? We've got 400 litres. It's not going to use that much. But really odd that it's given us a contract for the same thing I've just done. I ain't going to look no gift horse in the mouth. I ain't no silly fool. Of course, you say that, but then you remember about the Trojan horse, and the Trojan horse was definitely a bad thing. So, I mean, I will say the spraying contracts are paying quite well. Like, that's like 4 grand for one of them. And the nice thing about the spraying contract is that I should be able to see where the weeds are. And now we've got hail. No rain. Rain, not hail. Hail is the diamond symbol and tends to happen in April and May, apparently. I can live with a thunderstorm. It's corn. I will say the rain sound effects in this game are incredible. Right, let's get back. Let's collect that. And the fertilizing contracts keep coming, man. Getting the sprayer, honestly, was the best thing I've done. Out and out. The best thing that I could have done. We are going to need more spray. We are going to need some more liquid fert. 93 and 6. And field 93 seems like it pays a fair amount as well. We are going to go the long way around, just because I like going under the bridge. Beautiful. So we're going to buy another pallet of liquid fert. And we'll finish all the fert contracts before we start any of the others. We might as well. Obviously keeping an eye on fuel levels. So we're going to want one pallet of liquid fertilizer. We want to see how far we can take each pallet, because we are watching the pennies. Is it going to let me fill, or am I going to have to get out every single time? Really annoying bug. Right. I think that is a good place to bring the first episode of this Zero to Hero challenge run from scratch with a load of stipulations and handicaps to an end. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And I hope to see you all in the next video when we will get all these contracts knocked out and pay as much of that £1 million loan off as is possible. Ciao, ciao.